Hi everybody, I'm Lonnie Summers. I'm here at Running Denver TV and I'm here with the beautiful Becky Piper. Becky, thank you so much for being out here with us today.
No problem.
So Becky, tell us a little bit about yourself and when you started running.
I started running probably 7 years ago. I was sitting at home. I realized that I was just a little bit overweight, and I was really sick of being overweight, and I hated the idea of running. But I bought my first pair of $30 running shoes, and I went out running for a mile. I stopped 3 times in that mile, and I came back to the house bawling. But I went back out the next day, ran that mile again, only had to stop twice. And that was the start of a history of running.
That's pretty interesting because I can relate to that. I used to hate running, which is really interesting because I'm hosting a show called Running Denver TV. I would rather you pull out my fingernails than make me run. But it's pretty amazing how that actually kind of flips in your brain and all of a sudden it becomes something that becomes a lifestyle. You know, as I understand, this all got put on hold about 3 years ago when you had something very scary happen to you. And I read all about your story. If you don't mind, share us about what happened.
Sure. It happened about 3 years ago, and I was sitting at home alone, and I was watching a movie or something. My husband was at work when there was a knock at our door. And I, being the friendly person that I am, I went and answered it and was like, "Hi, how are you?" And there were 3 very tall, very angry men standing there. And long story short, they wanted to rob the house. I don't know if they got some wrong message that we had, a ton of money or something. We didn't. But they wanted to rob us. And they attacked me with a gun. They hit me over the head so hard, they almost killed me. They put me into a coma for 3 days. And when I woke up from the coma, I found out that the right half of me was paralyzed almost completely. So, I mean, it manifested itself exactly like a stroke would have. It's a traumatic brain injury, but it did manifest itself like a stroke. And from there, I knew I had to take just one step at a time on my way back.
So Becky, that's quite an amazing story, and you've obviously overcome a lot of adversity and stuff like that. How has you, having such a traumatic brain injury and stuff like that, I'm guessing you pretty much had to relearn how to do a lot of things.
Yeah, I had to relearn everything from how to swallow, to how to talk, to how to stand, to how to walk, to now I am relearning how to run. And running is really funky for me. I mean, you might see me and think, she's not running, but I am.
What's giving you the drive? I mean, it's obviously a lot of work. What's keeping you motivated?
What keeps me motivated basically actually is my spite. And it's this feeling inside me that they're not going to take away what I had. And they so easily could take that away from me, and they're not going to. So I'm going to try and get it back.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, we love being part of the journey. And what are you currently training for, and what goals do you have for yourself?
This coming season, I have the goal of doing an Olympic triathlon. That's almost a mile of swimming. I don't know how many miles, but I think it's 24 miles of biking and 6 miles of running. So I really got to step up my game on that. That's my short-term goals. My long-term goals are, 10 years down the road, I'd love to do half Ironman or maybe even an Ironman.
Good for you. That's pretty impressive. I can't even swim at all. I sink like a rock. So
I just kind of flail in the water. I flail moving forward.
One thing I've really noticed about you through this conversation with you so far is you just have such an amazing, just bigger than life personality. You've been through a lot. How do you keep yourself going?
I guess I keep myself going by just getting up in the morning. I can't think about, too much of what happened because, then I'll get depressed and then I'll go on this long downward spiral. So I just keep going. I don't know how really, but
We've obviously had something, again, very traumatic that's happened to you, and I think nobody would fault you for basically living in your house, not doing anything, really, and especially everything you're going through to rehabilitate yourself and whatnot, and having the paralysis and stuff. And here you are planning to do an Olympic triathlon with goals of hopefully doing a half, and we're going to see you out there in that full marathon someday. I definitely believe that. You know, when you've gone through something like this and whatnot, is I think you have become an inspiration probably without knowing it to other people. Do you realize that?
I guess. I mean, I just try to live my life every day, and yeah.
That's great. So, Becky, finally, what would you like to tell people that may have had some physical obstacles and that's coming their way, that's preventing them from getting out and doing what you're doing?
Well, pretty much everybody is going to face something physical that's going to be their obstacle at some point in their life. Just mentally, do what you can to prepare for it. And when it happens, just know that you have to keep going on. I guess that's it.
And I imagine also your family and friends have been a big support to you.
Yes, my husband has been such a support. He's taken these tons and tons of videos from my very first time I walked, which is the only word I can think of for that video is hilarious, because it's really funny watching me walk the first time, all the way up through running now.
Thank you so much for taking the time again to talk with us today. For more interviews and full episodes of Running Denver TV, make sure you visit us at runningdenver.com.